More knowledge and more nutrition facts is not what you need in order to start making progress. Let me tell you that right now. If you're someone who is constantly on a daily basis scrolling through your Instagram feed, looking for answers to the most minute questions about nutrition and trying to optimize your training program by looking at all of the various different variables and really kind of tinkering it with the minute detail, you are missing out on the key points. You are missing out on the things that are really going to make a difference, because it's not more knowledge that you need. And in this episode of the podcast, I'm going to tell you exactly why. I'm Simon Mitchell, online body transformation coach and founder of I Am Paradise Fitness. Like I said, in today's episode of the show, we are going to be delving into things that aren't related to more knowledge, more information. It's about what is actually going to make a difference in taking you from where you are now to achieving your goal. And I think that this is an episode that really is applicable to absolutely everyone, regardless of what end of the spectrum you are on, what goal you're trying to achieve. There really is some value in this for everyone. So I hope you listen and watch all the way through to the very end, because I think this is going to be really powerful for you. Now, if you are listening to this on a podcast platform, thank you very much for joining me. If you are a listener who's been here for a long time, you've listened to over 400 episodes of the podcast, thank you. Thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for listening to me once again. If you are new, welcome to the show. Feel free to binge listen to a huge amount of episodes that we've released in the past. As well, leaving a rating and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast would be absolutely awesome. If you are watching on YouTube as well, awesome. Like, subscribe, that would be equally awesome. But without further ado, let's get on with today's episode of the show. Instinctively, you know the basics of what actually gets results when it comes to health and fitness and nutrition. You know that going to the gym consistently, multiple times per week, is probably going to be a good thing for your health. You know that. You also know that a calorie deficit, i.e. eating fewer calories than your body burns, is going to be the way that you lose body fat. At least I hope you will understand that by now. And you also know instinctively that an apple has more nutrients and is lower calorie than a chocolate bar. So perhaps picking things and foods like the apple more often than the chocolate bar is probably going to help you achieve that calorie deficit over the course of time. Instinctively, you know these things. You don't need me or anybody else on social media to tell you these basic facts. Yet some people still go out there and try and seek more information. They try to seek what is going to be that little nugget of information, that little thing, that gem that's going to help them make a breakthrough. It's almost like you're searching for this informational, if that's a word, holy grail, the thing that is going to open up the doors and unlock fat loss heaven for you. It really doesn't exist, because in your brain, you already know the answer. You already know what it takes in order to achieve that goal. So what really is the blocker? Because it's not more information, but what really is that blocker that's stopping you from achieving your goal? In reality, it's psychology. It's what's going on between your ears, in your fucking nut. That's what's really the key thing. The psychology, the emotions, the behaviors, and the habits that you adopt. That's where the answer is. And I guarantee you, if you're not making progress, that's where you're not focusing your attention as much as you need to. So if you're focused on all of these things, about gaining information, about trying to understand the nuances of nutrition and how shit works in the body and stuff like that, if you're spending all your time on that sort of stuff and not actually making progress, then you need to stop. You need to get right back to basics and figure out, okay, there's this part of the equation that I'm missing. I'm missing on the mindset stuff. I'm missing on the habits, the behaviors, the emotional side of things. I'm not putting enough time and attention into those things. And that's what's going to make me transform and make progress towards my goal. Because you see, I could give you the best meal plan on the face of the earth. I could give you the best training program that's really specific to you. I could sit there like I do with my clients and I could customize a training program that on paper is the absolute best thing in the world. But it's no good if there's no consistency. It's no good if there's no behavior change. There's no good if you're not establishing the habits that are going to keep you making progress for the long term. And when I get a client on board at I Am Paradise Fitness and I take them through the Lean Life Method process, that's one of the key things that we focus in on from day one. Really fun trying to figure out, like, who are you as a person? Who are you trying to become? It's like this identity change process that you need to go through to transform your habits, your behaviors, your lifestyle. Whether you want to be someone who is, building a fuck ton of muscle, you want to be absolutely jacked, you've got to probably adopt some habits and behaviors that you don't have right now. And if you don't think about that early on, you will not get the results that you want. Now, a lot of people will look at this and think, well, that's just airy-fairy bullshit. I just want to lift weights in the gym. Just give me a fucking training program. Just tell me what to fucking eat and I'll get on with it. That's the sort of person that I just don't want to work with when it comes to coaching, because you are always going to fall short. You really got to open yourself up to say, right, okay, the guy that I want to be or the girl that I want to be in terms of having this jacked physique or whatever, it all comes back to, yes, I need to get into the gym and do certain things. Yes, I need to do certain things with my nutrition, but I also need to think about how am I going to change my lifestyle, my habits, my behaviors to make all that stuff happen seamlessly, to make that stuff happen effortlessly. That's what's going to help you make progress over the course of time. Because let's face it, building a jacked physique is taking years. It's not going to be weeks. You've got to be in it for the long term. And if you are not establishing those behaviors, those habits right up front, you will always fall short. And the same comes with you are someone who just wants to lose weight. You're not interested in being jacked, being the biggest guy in the gym, or being the most, the girl that's got the biggest glutes, or whatever it is that's the kind of in fashion thing. You just want to change your physique for the positive. You want to get more control over your nutrition, your health, your lifestyle, things like that. Again, it's not about, well, how many sets do I do? Or it's not about, okay, what's the right rest period in the gym? It's not about, okay, should I eat this food or that food? Is that food good? Is that food bad? It's not about those equations. It comes right back to, yes, some of that stuff is important, but you need to be equally thinking about the adherence, the ability for yourself to be consistent, for you to create the lifestyle, the behavior change that's going to make that happen. Now, one of the key questions you might ask, well, how do I do that? How do I start to think about that? Again, it's a complex process because that isn't the easy bit. And it's with clients that sometimes you work with a client and they get it straight away and things start to fall into place quite quickly. All they maybe needed was a bit of direction and accountability, and now they're off and running. Some people require a lot more hand-holding, a lot more detail in terms of helping them create the mindset change and things like that. So everybody's going to be different. You listening to this or watching this right now could be completely different to the next person in terms of how they take this information and they run with it. But the thing that I would say is start small. Start with something that's absolutely 100% achievable. Often when people start out on a goal or a journey, if you want to call it that, is that they set themselves like 35 different goals and 35 different things that they're going to do differently every single day. And they do it for 1 or 2 days, but then it starts to feel overwhelming because it's difficult to make that huge amount of lifestyle change in one go. No one's really going to fucking do that, are they? No one's really going to commit to doing meditations, reading a book a day, listening to a book a day, not going on social media here, not doing this, not doing that, doing this, doing that. It's just so many things to think about all in one go that it becomes overwhelming. So start off with, right now, if you're listening to this and you feel like you need this habit and behavior change, I would say commit to one thing you can do for the next 7 days that positively pushes you in the right direction. Just one thing. And that one thing should feel simple. It should feel like I could absolutely 100% do this without fail. But it's positive, it's different, it's pushing me in the right direction. Just one thing. That's your 7-day challenge from this podcast, is you just do one thing that you can definitely do every day for the next 7 days, and just do that. That should give you a sense of achievement, a sense of accomplishment, motivation. That now starts the ball rolling. Do that for another week after that. Then add in another habit, then add in another one once you've nailed that. This is about a process of long-term change. It's not about trying to do as much as you possibly can in the shortest possible time frame. It's about taking the right approach. Taking the right approach might be, like I said, starting small, starting by changing one thing and then building on that one thing and creating that snowball of momentum rather than starting off with a huge amount of things to do that just weigh you down and crush you like some form of fucking rock from above. That's what you don't need. Because right now, you're probably in a situation where you don't really believe in yourself. You don't believe that you can make this change. You feel like it's all too much. You feel like you've been there before, you failed, you've tried, and you didn't quite get to where you wanted to. And you feel like this is all going to happen again. So you need to build that momentum. You need to build that motivation. But motivation isn't just going to come by just sitting down and waiting for it. Taking action breeds that motivation. So if you take action that's simple, easy, positive, and you can get that ball rolling, well, that's the best thing that you can do. So stop seeking more and more information. You don't need more information. You know the basics. You know 80% of what you need in order to start getting that ball rolling. So now what you need to do is focus on the habits, the emotional side of things, the behavior change, and you need to start that ball rolling. And to do that, I want you to set yourself a 7-day challenge. One thing you can do every single day, 100% guaranteed. It's easy for you to do, but it pushes you in the right direction. Then build on that. So hopefully this episode of the podcast really kind of helped you get some clarity. Hopefully it stopped you thinking about the needless shit that you don't need to think about and really channeled into what you do need to think about. So if this gave you some clarity, I'd love to hear from you. Visit me on Instagram at iron_paradise_fitness. Drop me a DM, maybe even take a screenshot of the podcast on your phone, tag me in your Instagram stories. Tell me what you thought about the podcast. I do love to hear all of your thoughts about the show. But for now, all I'm going to say is thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching. Keep living the lean life, and I'll see you for the next episode of the show.